We're live. The lighting should be better this way. Yep. So flashes happening on the screen.
Is it too loud?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What do you guys think? We're just staring at pictures of ourselves. So if there's anyone watching,
Hi.
hi.
Oh, are
We're a
you
bit
doing
nuts.
it through Zoom? Does it pop?
I don't know. Did I do it? Was I meant to do it through Zoom?
Because sometimes it.
Oh, what's it?
We're going. We're live. We're going. I think it's better to do it on YouTube anyway. It's so much easier than
It
having to
is.
upload it.
Yes, uploading is a bit frustrating. All right.
So I hope you've all done your 30-day recitation.
No, you know that means we're reciting the whole book in 30 days.
Oh, only up to here though.
It's not
surely.
a break for 30 days. What?
Oh, only up to here though. Like
Yeah.
here.
Oh yeah, so this is so you've just had the first break.
Yeah.
So you've just listened to every other one of our podcasts up until now.
And then you went to take
and
a break.
now
for
you're
30
allowed
days.
a break. Not for 30 days. It's a pause, like you go and grab a drink and a biscuit before we start reading again.
Okay, see ya.
No. Isn't it? It says pause for a 30-day recitation.
With a biscuit. Yeah. All right, let's go. 'Cause we
All
don't
right.
know anything.
So yeah, this is all. Yep. Hear the blessed story of the holy Ramacharitamanasa, which was narrated at length by the sage Bushundi and heard by the king of birds Garuda. I shall tell you later on how that great dialogue took place. First, listen to the most charming and sanctifying story of his descent. The virtues, names, stories, and forms of Sri Hari are all unlimited, innumerable, and immeasurable. Yet I proceed to tell them according to the best of my intellectual capacity. Listen, Uma, with reverence. Hark, O Girija, the Vedas and the Tantras have sung numerous charming and sinless exploits of Sri Hari. The cause of Sri Hari's descent cannot be precisely stated. Listen, O sensible lady. Sri Rama is beyond the grasp of intellect, mind, or speech. Such is my conviction. Yet, O charming lady, I tell you the reason as I understand it, and even as the saints and sages, the Vedas and the Puranas have stated according to their intellectual level. Whenever virtue declines and vile and haughty demons multiply and work iniquity that cannot be told, and whenever brahmanas, cows, gods, and earth itself are in trouble, the gracious Lord assumes various transcendent forms and relieves the distress of the virtuous. Killing the demons, he reinstates the gods, preserves the bounds of propriety fixed by the Vedas, which represent his own breath, and diffuses his immaculate glory throughout the world. This is the motive of Sri Rama's descent. Singing this glory, the devotees cross the ocean of mundane existence. It is for the sake of his devotees that the compassionate Lord bodies himself forth. The motives of Sri Rama's birth are many. Each are each more wonderful than the other. I will refer to one or two such births at some length. Please listen attentively, O wise Bhavani. Sri Hari has two favorite gatekeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, who are known to everybody. Due to the curse of certain Brahmanas, Sanaka and his three brothers, both these brothers were born in the accursed species of demons. One of them was known as Hiranyakashipu and the other as Hiranyaksha. They became known throughout the universe as the tamers of the pride of Indra, the chief of gods. Both of them were celebrated heroes who came out victorious in battle. The Lord assumed the form of a boar in order to kill one of the two brothers, viz. Hiranyaksha, while bodying himself forth as a man-lion, he killed the other, Hiranyakashipu, and spread the fair renown of his devotee Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu's son.
It is these two brothers that were born again as the powerful and most valiant Rakshasas, Ravana, oh there you go, and Kumbhakarna.
Kumbhakarna. Just when he gets to sleep for a long time.
Yeah.
That's me.
He spends one day on Earth and then sleeps for 6 months. Seems like a fair trade.
That's what I'm doing.
Who were great warriors and, as all the world knows, conquered even gods. Even though slain by the Lord, the two brothers, Hiranyaksha,
It's got the dot if the dot's if the dot's underneath it, or the squiggles on top of it, it's a sh.
And Hiranyakshipu. Did not attain liberation, for the Brahmins had doomed them to 3 births. It was on their account that the lover of the devotees bodied himself forth on one occasion. In that birth, Kashyapa and Aditi were his parents, who were known by the names of Dasharatha and how do you say it? Yeah, and Kausalya.
Kausalya. Yeah, Kausalya. Yeah.
Kausalya.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's got the little line above it, so it's a long ya.
Kausalya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Respectively. This was how in one Kalpa round of creation, the Lord descended from heaven and performed purifying deeds on the earth. In another Kalpa, all the gods were worsted in their conflict with the demon Jalandhara. Seeing their distress, Shambho waged war against him, which knew no end, but the demon, who possessed a great might, could not be killed in spite of his best efforts. The wife of the demon chief was a most virtuous lady. Armed by her strength of character, the demon could not be conquered even by the vanquisher of Tripura. But by stratagem, the Lord broke her vow of chastity and accomplished the purpose of the gods. When the lady discovered the trick, she cursed him in her wrath. The supportive and gracious Lord accepted her cause. It was this Jalandhara who was reborn as Ravana in this later Kalpa. Killing him in battle, Sri Rama conferred on him the supreme state, final beatitude. This was the reason why Sri Rama assumed a human form in one particular birth. Hark, O Bharadvaja. Barad,
Is it Bharadwaja?
Barad,
Bharadwaja.
Vaja.
Bharadwaja.
Vaja.
Bara?
But it's a long A.
Where?
It's got a little line above it. So
Okay,
it's got a
so
long A.
Dwaja.
Yep.
Oh, that's not how they say it in
Bharadwaja.
the Valmiki. Bharadwaja.
Because the long
And-
lines do make it a long.
Yeah, I know, but this is not how I've heard it. I'm trying to think I've heard it in the song too, but I don't know if I have, but definitely heard it in the Valmiki one. Bharadwaja. Like everyone has fights over these stuff, I think so. Yeah.
Because it's Rama, not Rama. It's got the long A. Anyway, the story of each birth of the Lord has been. That's probably really boring to listen to and watch us try and pronounce the names.
Part of the
experience.
The thing,
The story. Where was I? I don't know. The story of each birth of the Lord has been sung by poets in diverse ways. On one occasion, Narada caused the Lord.
Narada.
Narada.
He's just gonna make the A's with the lines above them really long.
Curse the Lord. This served as an excuse of his birth in one particular kalpa. Okay. Girija was taken aback to hear these words and said, Narada is a votary of God, Vishnu, an enlightened soul too. Wherefore did the sage pronounce a curse? What offense had Lakshmi's lord committed against him? Tell me the whole story, O slayer of the demon Tripura. It is very strange that the sage should have fallen prey to delusion. The great Lord Shiva, no, that's just doesn't need to be a long one. The great Lord Shiva then replied with a smile, there is no one enlightened or deluded. Man instantly becomes what the Lord of Ragos wills him to be at a particular moment. Said Yajnavalkya, I'm going to recount the virtues of Rama. Oh, yeah. Bharadvaja. Listen with a devout mind. Footnote. For the cause of the curse, see Kalpai 1 following Doha 78. So if you're following along at home, go to Kalpa 1, Doha 78, and you can read all about the cause of the curse. I don't know what curse. What are we talking about? I've lost myself. Okay. Renouncing
back to the text.
Back to the text. Foot gone. Renouncing pride and intoxication, O Tulsidasa, adore the Lord of Ragos who puts an end to metempsychosis. Metempsychosis.
Metempsychosis. Psychosis? Yeah, psychosis. Metempsychosis. Like, sometimes they seem like, because it's a translation,
is that a
right?
word?
You know, like it's
metempsychosis.
Like, it's a translation, right? So sometimes they seem to have translated words a bit like out there.
This is not a word I've ever used.
Yeah.
My vocabulary is quite small, but okay, where were we? In the Himalaya mountains, there was a most sacred cave. The beautiful heavenly stream Ganga flowed nearby. The sight of this most holy and charming hermitage highly attracted the mind of the celestial sage Narada. Seeing the mountain, the river, and the forest glades, his heart developed love for the feet of Lakshmi's lord. The thought of Sri Hari broke the spell of the curse, pronounced by Daksha, which did not allow him to stay at one place. So he had to keep moving. And his mind...
Sorry, I was just yawning. like it's so boring. I'm just yawning over here while you're talking, and it's like no one can see me over here, but I'm on the screen.
You are, and you're.
But you don't know. I'm just yawning. It's Sorry, I just caught a glimpse of myself. It was funny.
I'm surprised you're not looking at yourself
Because
all
you
the
were
time.
reading away, and I'm just like,
All right. Where was I?
sorry.
And that's all right. You just keep yawning away. And his mind, which was naturally sinless, fell into a trance. Seeing the sage's condition, Indra, the chief of gods, became apprehensive. Summoning the god of love, he received him with great honor and said, "For my sake, go with your associates." The god of love, who has a fish emblazoned on his standard, set out gladdened at heart. Indra apprehended that the celestial sage sought to occupy his abode. Those who are lustful and grasping are afraid of everyone like the evil-minded crow. Just as a foolish dog, on seeing a king of beasts, should run away with a dry bone, fearing in his crass ignorance lest the lion should rob him of it, Indra too, in his shamelessness, thought as above.
Oh, right.
Yeah, from that page.
Yeah.
A little bit lost.
When the god of love reached that hermitage, he created a
Can you
semblance
just the light on?
of the vernal. Oh, it still says. It'd be a funny effect. Yeah. Or we'll just be Two-Face.
It's a moody
It's like one of
podcast.
those gnarly, half white, half black face things. Anyway, when the god of love reached that hermitage, he created a semblance of the vernal season by his illusory power. Many coloured blossoms appeared on the trees of different kinds. Cuckoos sang and bees hummed. Delightful breezes, cool, soft, and fragrant, blew, fanning the flame of passion. Rambha and other heavenly damsels, who looked ever young, were all. Sorry. I'm sorry. I just.
It's all right, I believe.
I'm so happy. Ramba and other heavenly damsels, who looked ever young and were all past masters in amorous sports, sang in undulating tones of various kinds and sported in many ways. Ball in hand, the god of love was delighted to see his associates there and employed a variety of deceptive tricks. But his amorous devices had no effect on the sage. Guilty Cupid was now apprehensive of his own destruction. Can anyone dare to trespass the bounds of him who has the Lord of Lakshmi as his great protector? Have a drink. How did you just get so small? Look at you. You shrunk. You got spiritual powers.
Yeah, that was the city I took. Shrink to a minute size.
Oh,
I can.
so awesome.
Yes, I could go lots of places. Get in lots of places.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know what I'd do once I was there, but I could get there. That's all that matters.
In dire dismay, the god of love with his accomplices acknowledged his defeat and clasped the sage's feet, addressing him in accents of deep humility. There was no anger in Narada's mind. He reassured the god of love by addressing him in friendly terms.
It's all right, mate.
Then, bowing his head at the sage's feet and obtaining his leave, retaining his leave, Love retired with his accomplices. Reaching the court of Indra, the chief of gods, he related his own doings. On the one hand, the sage's clemency on the other. Hearing the tale, all were astonished. They extolled the sage and bowed their head to Hari. Then Narada called on Shiva. He was proud of his victory over love and told him all love's doings. Knowing him to be
Awesome. Cool.
knowing him to be most beloved
Beloved. That's
friend,
going to be my next one.
the great knowing him to be his most beloved friend, the great Lord Shiva admonished him as follows. O sage, I pray to you again and again, never repeat this story to Hari as you have repeated it to me. Even if the topic ever comes up before him, please hush up. Wholesome was the advice given by Shambho, but it did not please Narada. Bharadwaja, now hear what interesting thing happened. The will of Hari is predominant. Might need to turn on the light. We're pretty dark now, and we look pretty cool though.
Okay.
Let's say, like, how cool do we look? But I can't see the words. You right?
This one? This is
No, it should be on. Is it plugged in? Yeah, it's just the black one. You just turn on the switch. Here we are. And yep, that's way less cool looking, but we can see the page now. The will of Sri Rama alone prevails. There is no one who can alter it. Shambho's advice fell flat on the sage. Then he went to the abode of Brahma, the creator, singing the glories of Sri Hari. To the accompaniment of the excellent lute he had in his hand. The Lord of Sages, Narada, who was skilled in music, once repaired to the ocean of milk, where dwells the abode of Lakshmi, Bhagavan Narayana, who is Vedanta, the crown of all Vedas personified. The abode of Rama, Lakshmi, rose to meet him in great joy and shared his seat with the sage. The Lord of the entire creation, animate as well as inanimate, said with a smile, "It is after a long time that you have showed me this favor, reverend sir." Narada told him all the doings of love, even though Shiva had already forbidden him to do so. Most formidable is the Maya, deluding potency of the Lord of Ragus. No one was ever born in this world who is beyond its charm. With an impassive look, yet in coaxing accents, said the Lord, by your very thought, self-delusion, lust, arrogance, and pride disappear. Hark, O sage, the mind of him alone is susceptible to delusion, whose heart is devoid of wisdom and dispassion. You are steadfast in your vow of celibacy and resolute of mind. You can never be smitten with pangs of love. Narada replied with a feeling of pride, Lord, it is all due to your grace. The compassionate Lord pondered and saw that a huge tree of pride had sprouted in his heart. I shall soon tear it up by the roots, for it is my vow to serve the best interests of my servants. I must contrive some plan which may do good to the sage and serve as a diversion for me. Then, bowing his head at the feet of Sri Hari, Narada departed. The pride in his heart had swelled. The Lord of Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity, then set his Maya into operation. Now hear of her relentless doings.
The Lord's Maya, deluding potency, created on the way a city with an area of 800 square miles. The manifold architectural beauties of that city excelled even those of Vishnu's own capital, Vaikuntha. Is that the Vishnu's capital? Vaikuntha.
Kunta. Yeah.
It was inhabited by graceful men and women who you would take to be so many incarnations of the god of love and his wife Rati. A king, Shilandehi, by name, ruled over the city. He owned numberless horses, elephants, and troops. He possessed the grandeur and luxury of 100 Indras and was a repository of grace, splendor, might, and wisdom. He had a daughter, Vishvamohini, by name, whose beauty enraptured even Lakshmi. She was no other than Sri Hari's own Maya, enrapturing potency, the fountainhead of all virtues. Who can describe her charm? The princess was going to marry by self-choice, hence kings beyond number arrived there as suitors. The sportive sage Narada entered the city and inquired everything from the people. Hearing all that had been going on there, he wended his way to the king's palace. The king paid him homage and gave him a seat. The king brought and showed the princess to Narada and said, "Tell me, after mature thought, all that is good or bad about her." Is this the same thing he did with Parvati? I think he did. He said, I think this is exactly the same thing that Himalaya asked of Narada about his daughter Parvati. And this is when Narada said, she's going to marry Shiva. And everyone freaked out and go, that guy. Oh, God. Seeing her beauty, the sage forgot all about his dispassion and remained gazing on her for a long time. When he read the auspicious marks on her body, he was lost in reverie. He was gladdened at heart, but he would not openly mention the happy characteristics. He who weds this girl, he said to himself, shall become immortal, and no one shall be able to conquer him in battle. He whom Shilandehi's daughter selects for her lord shall be adored by the entire creation, both animate and inanimate. Having read these characteristics, the sage kept them to himself and mentioned a few fabricated ones to the king. Not cool. Telling the king that his daughter was of good promise, Narada left. He thought within himself, let me devise and try some means whereby the princess may choose me for her husband. Because he's not telling the king all the stuff because he's like, I want to marry the girl, so I'm not going to tell the king. So he didn't say everything. He had no more zeal to practice japa, muttering the sacred formulas, or austerity. Good God, how am I going to get the girl? He said to himself. He said, that's written here.
That's it. You didn't make that up?
No.
Well done.
Good God,
Okay.
how am I going to get the girl?
All right.
Come on, Narada, let's show us your moves. What is needed on this occasion is great personal charm, 1, and surpassing beauty, 2, whereby the princess may be enamored of me and place the wreath of victory around my neck. Oops. I think I've skipped Hang on. Let me ask Hari for the gift of beauty. But alas, much time will be lost in going to him. Yet I have no such friend as Hari. Let him therefore come to my rescue at this juncture. Then Narada prayed in manifold ways, and lo, the supportive and merciful Lord appeared before him. The sight was soothing to the sage's eyes. He was glad at heart and felt assured that his object would be accomplished. In great humility, he told the Lord all that had happened and said, "Be gracious to me and good enough to help me win the girl." I added that bit. "Lord, bestow on me your own beauty. In no other way can I get possession of her." I did not add that bit. "Speedily do that which may serve my best interests. I am your own servant, my lord." But I like the babe. Seeing the mighty power of his
You added
that.
I like the babe. She's hot.
I'm all down for you, Lord, but there's a babe. She's over there.
She's hot.
Be my wingman, Lord. Seeing the mighty power of his Maya, the Lord, who is compassionate to the poor, smiled to himself and said, "No, he's really lost. Narada, listen to me. I shall do that alone which is good to you and nothing else. My words can never be untrue. Hark, O contemplative ascetic. If a patient distracted by his malady asks for something which is harmful to him, the physician would not give it. In a like manner, I have resolved on doing what is good for you." So saying, the Lord disappeared. Under the spell of his Maya, the sage was so mystified that he could not understand even such unambiguous words from Sri Hari. The chief of seers hastened to spot where the arena for the choice marriage had been prepared. Richly adorned, the royal suitors had occupied their respective seats, each with his retinue. The sage was glad at heart, for he thought within himself, "My beauty is so surpassing that the princess will never commit the error of choosing for her husband anyone else but me." In the sage's own interest, the gracious Lord had made him hideous beyond description. Narada didn't look in the mirror before he went out on the town. But no one could mark the change that had taken place in him. Everyone knew him to be Narada and greeted him as such. Two of Shiva's attendants, who too happened to be there, they knew the whole secret and disguised as Brahmins went about seeing the fun. In the row where sat Narada, exceedingly proud of his beauty, the two attendants of Mahesha seated themselves. Yeah, the two.
Shiva, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, the two attendants who have just gone to see the fun, they've gone and sat down to watch it. They've got their binoculars and they're like going to watch the disaster happen in front of them. Being disguised as Brahmins, they could not be detected. They flung sarcastic remarks at Narada, saying, "Hari has given this man such excellent beauty that the princess will be enamored to look at it and shall certainly choose him, taking for Hari himself." Footnote: the word Hari also means a monkey. The attendants of Shiva therefore indirectly hinted that the sage looked like a monkey, not a handsome man. Okay, back to the text. The sage was under a spell of delusion, for his heart had been stolen by love. Ooh. The attendants of Shiva felt amused at this and greatly enjoyed the fun. Even though the sage heard their ironical talk, he could not follow it, his reason being clouded by infatuation. It's got it bad for the girl. No one perceived this extraordinary phenomenon. The princess alone saw his ugly form. The moment she beheld his monkey-like face and frightful form, she was filled with rage. Mm-hmm.
Accompanied by her girl companions, the princess then glided as a swan. With the wreath of victory in her lotus hands, she moved about surveying each of her royal suitors. She did not care to look even casually at the quarter in which Narada sat elated with pride. Again and again the sage would raise himself and fidget about. The attendants of Hara smiled to see him in that state. The gracious lord, too, went there in the form of a king. The princess joyfully placed the wreath of victory around his neck. The lord of Lakshmi carried off the bride to the despair of all assembled kings. The sage felt much perturbed, for
One
infatuation
word for it.
had robbed the sage of his reason. He felt as if a gem had dropped from a loosened knot in the end of his garment. The attendant of Hara then smilingly said, "Just look at your face in a mirror." Uttering these words, both ran away in great alarm, and the sage looked at his reflection in water. His fury knew no bounds when he beheld his form, and he pronounced a terrible curse on the attendants of Shiva. "Oh, you sinful
Pricks.
impostor!" I was going to say something, but I held my mouth. He took it out.
What word were you going to use?
I don't know. I just was like, it could have been bad. And so
I'm trying to keep it as
yeah.
unexplicit as possible because I got a few other words.
Simple.
Pricks was what I went with.
Yep. Worse than a prick. Oh, you sinful impostors, go and be reborn as demons. You mocked me, therefore reap its reward. Mock again the sage if you dare. Looking again in water, he saw that he had regained his real form. Yet his heart found no solace. His lips quivered, and there was indignation in his heart. At once he proceeded to where the lord of Lakshmi was. "I shall either curse him or die at his door," he said
Ride or die.
He said to himself, "seeing that he has made me a butt of ridicule throughout the world."
Yeah, you kind of did do that.
Oh boy. The terror of the demons, Sri Hari, met him right on the way. He was accompanied by goddess Rama and the princess referred to above. The Lord of Immortals spoke in gentle tones. "To what destination, holy sir, are you betaking yourself like one distracted?" As soon as he heard these words, Narada was filled with rage.
Pissed off.
Dominated as he was by Maya, there was no reason left in him. He said, "You cannot bear to look upon the good fortune of others." There's a bug. That was me. That was real life. Still there.
Narada now is distracted by bugs. First it was women.
Hang on.
Now it's insects.
He said, "You cannot bear to look upon the good fortune of others.
Although mosquitoes
You
are pretty annoying.
richly endowed with the jealousy and fraud." You are richly endowed with jealousy and fraud. While churning the ocean, you drove Rudra mad and inciting him through the gods, you made him quaff the poison. Appointing intoxicating liquor to the demons and poison to Shankara, you appropriated Rama and the lovely gem Kostuba to yourself. You have ever been selfish and perverse and treacherous in your dealings.
That's the way you speak to the Lord. Keep going.
Yep. You are absolutely independent and subordinate to none. Therefore, you do whatever pleases your mind. You debase a good soul and redeem a vile person, and neither rejoice nor grieve over it. Deceiving everyone, you have become habituated to such tricks. You entertain no fear and are always zealous in pursuing your tricks. You entertain no fear and are always zealous in pursuing your own object. Like I read that again. Good and evil deeds do not come in your way. No one has so far been able to correct you. You have this time played with fire and shall reap what you have sown. Take that very form in which you have imposed upon me. This is my curse. You made me look like a monkey, therefore you shall have monkeys for your helpmates. And as you have grievously wronged me, so shall you suffer the pangs of separation from your wife.
He's not kidding. Not
So-
playing around.
Yeah. Narada's
cursing Shiva, I think.
Gladly accepting the curse, the compassionate Lord made many entreaties to the sage and withdrew the irresistible charm of his Maya.
Oh, is it Shiva or is it
Was it wrong?
Vishnu?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
When Srihari lifted the spell of his Maya, there was neither Rama nor the princess to be seen by his side. In dire dismay, the sage then clasped the feet of Hari and said, O reliever of the distress of the suppliant, save me. O gracious Lord, let my curse prove ineffectual. It was my will, replied the Lord, who is so merciful to the humble. I poured many abuses at you, the sage repeated. How shall my sins be expiated?
It's all right, mate. We all go crazy over love.
Go and repeat the names of Shankara 100 times. Your heart will be disburdened at once. No one is so dear to me as Shiva. Never give up this belief, even by mistake. O sage, he who does not earn the goodwill of Shiva shall never attain true devotion to me. Bearing this in mind, go and perambulate the globe. My Maya shall haunt you no more. Having thus reassured the sage, the Lord then disappeared while Narada proceeded to Satyaloka, the seventh paradise, the abode of Brahma, chanting Sri Rama's praises as he went. When the attendants of Shiva saw the sage moving along the road free from delusion and greatly delighted at heart, they approached him in great alarm and, clasping his feet, spoke to him in great humility. We are servants of Shiva and no Brahmanas, O great sage. We committed a great sin and have reaped its fruit. Now rid us of the curse, O benevolent sage. Narada, who was full of compassion to the humble, replied, both of you go and take the form of demons. You shall possess an enormous fortune, grandeur, and strength. Then you have subdued the universe by the might of your arm. God Vishnu shall take a human form. Dying at his hands in battle, you shall be liberated and shall never be reborn. Bowing their head at the sage's feet, both departed and were reborn as demons in due course.
Is this the
We
birth?
had enough.
Yeah.
Been going for a while, so maybe we've got that line to go.
I think we read that as part of the next one.
Should we just read it?
In one Kapala. Yep, I think we should end soon. I'm obviously losing it. Round of creation. It was for this reason that Lord Sri Hari assumed a human form. It is his vow to gladden the gods and to delight the virtuous and to ease the earth of its burden.
The end. No, just joking.
No.
Page 142
42.
of about 1100.
And next we're going to go on, I guess, and talk a little bit more about Sri Hari and his incarnation. So we just learnt about
how Ravana came
about birth of Ravana,
yeah,
and Kumbhakarna.
I was talking about creating both of those.
Yes, because the two, they were both the two Shiva's attendants. There was two of them.
Yes, right, I get it.
And so we found out that Narada was after a babe.
Narada. Yep.
After
Narada.
a babe, asked for help, wasn't given it, was given a monkey face instead.
Yeah.
And then the two Shiva's two attendants came along and made a bit of fun of him, and he wasn't impressed.
And Shiva's two attendants were Ravana and Kumbhakarna.
Yeah, I think so. Is that what it's trying to say?
Okay, yeah. I hope so. We might be getting this wrong.
Well, we might be getting. Well, you know, it sounds kind of right.
Maybe we should go back and listen to it. Or read it again.
Because when the attendants of Shiva saw the sage moving along the road free from delusion and greatly delighted, we are the servants of Shiva, he says. And then he says, both of you go and take the form of demons. You shall possess an enormous fortune, grandeur, and strength. I'm reading it.
Who's saying this?
This is Narada saying it. When you have subdued the universe by the might of your arm, God Vishnu will take human form.
And Narada is Vishnu.
He's a sage. No, he's the son of someone.
Oh, we don't know.
He's the son of like Sarasvati and no, not Sarasvati. One of those ones anyway.
Sure.
Dying at his hands in battle, you shall be liberated and shall never be reborn. So we know that Vishnu incarnates as Rama and kills Ravana, and Ravana will not be reborn.
Right, yeah.
There we go. It's all
coming.
Right here. It's all coming together
so it's
before we get. So we've learnt why Ravana's even in there in the first place.
He made fun of someone.
Narada, when he was trying to get a babe.
Yeah.
And he wasn't impressed.
Yeah. Babe was. Who's the babe? Take.
The Lord. He also he came in a character form, and she chose him instead.
Okay.
Because
what was the name of the Lord? What was the name of the Lord? Which Lord?
I think Sri Hari was it?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But because like I think it was like Narada is a sage, and they were like, and the Lord was like, no, you're being distracted by this, babe. This is not your path, mate. And so that's why he didn't let him have the babe.
Do you know where we're up to?
Yeah, I put
Sorry.
this babe in.
Yep. Yep. Sorry. We're just gonna skip right over that. No one else saw that. No. Good. All right. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Tune in to see what happens next.
Next time. Bye. I said that.